Hi, everyone. I am the impact producer for Duty Free, and we are here today with Sian-Pierre, who's the director of the film, and his amazing mother, Rebecca, who's the protagonist in the film. And we're here to talk about the creation of the film, what happened next, and where they are today, and what our impact campaign is all about. So we're thrilled that you're here joining us, and we will just jump right in. Rebecca, what was the film experience like for you? You are a social media star now. Did you ever expect that that would ever happen? And what's the joy of this process been for you?
Not in a million years did I expect this to happen to me in my life. It has been an amazing journey. I've learned a lot of things I shouldn't have done, and a lot of things I wish I had done. In short, before I endured life, now I'm enjoying life. It's been a wonderful experience for me.
That's such an amazing message. Enduring versus enjoying. I hope that everybody gets to do that, within their own life and experiences that. What was the most memorable bucket list item that you went on?
Well, of course, all the items were memorable for different reasons. I mean, the milking of the cow brought me back to my childhood. Learning hip hop gave me an understanding of how he feels, the joy of dancing free and loose from someone who really is a minuet type person, very Victorian. Probably most important was the reconnection with my daughter. And now we've become very close as a result of that. My visiting her and our long talks and everything else. I'm glad, a sense of relief that I visited my sister's grave, because I wasn't able to do it when I was working, but for very different reasons, each one was memorable.
Sian-Pierre, what sticks out for you?
Yeah, I think visiting Elsie's grave, my mom's sister, was probably the most powerful for me. It just I watched the footage back and I still get really teary-eyed every single time. And I remember shooting that day and, the sky was beautiful. I mean, it was a beautiful day to shoot. And, it was silent in that cemetery. And then to have my mom say she wished she had come before, as we were walking out, totally unscripted, obviously. And it just was so powerful, made me think about a lot as it pertains to family. So that for me was it.
So then, speaking of family, we've gone through the entire bucket list journey and so much has changed from the beginning to the end of the film. Can you catch up the audience on where you are now and what the future holds for the two of you?
Well, we are zooming in live from our apartment, which we share. So my mom moved in with me and my partner in New York City. And so we're living this really amazing multi-generational lifestyle where my mom now does our laundry and makes our bed and has taken all of her amazing housekeeping skills and transferred them to our house. So I'm living the best life ever. And I think she's enjoying it.
Well, I'm learning to eat vegetarian food, long walks, gardening again. I'm back to making bread. It really is a whole switch in my life, and I've met so many of his wonderful friends, and the neighbors were on a first name basis. Mm-hmm. It's been really quite wonderful.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, the saddest part is that my mom is separated from my brother Gabriel, who comes up in the film, obviously. And that's been sort of maybe the hardest piece to figure out. But I think we're doing a pretty good job, and he's doing well and living on his own in Boston.
And we're going to see him this week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. And before this experience happened, had you guys ever talked about possibly living together and the need for a multi-generational household, or was this just based on your experience that happened and something you had to do?
Yeah, we had no plans. I mean, we never talked about, sort of planning what would happen after my mom stopped working. And so, it's like we were shooting the film, editing the film, and my mom's life was continuing on, and we needed to make decisions in real time. And it just seemed like the best decision for her to move here mid-pandemic because she needed to be out of her other place. And so it all just sort of worked out in this way. And yeah, we're just
I
making it
never
work.
planned on not working. I mean, even after all this went down, I now have another job, which I'm currently on furlough, but I never planned on stopping working. I never thought this would happen to me. I didn't plan on the future and the savings and all that stuff because I never expected to be without money.
Right. And it's certainly something that was a shock to me, and I think is a shock to a lot of people. And I know we'll talk about our impact campaign later, but addressing financial planning in families is one of the things that we think is really important because the more prepared you are, the less scary it can be, as it was for us.
And then Rebecca, you're so vocal about what happened to you and the emotions that came from it. But, what was it like losing your job, at your age with $600 in your bank account? Like, do you mind taking us back to that moment and, what happened for you?
Scary. I was lost. Honestly, say in England, I was gobsmacked when I was told today is your last day. I heard about it happening to other people, but I spent my whole life at my job. My job defined me. Everything had to be so. And I thought I'd be employed forever. The one thing about hospitality is you're fed, you get uniforms, if you get to my level, you can get the opportunity of living in. That was an idea. That was the future. That was it. There was no plan beyond that. I was devastated. I felt dispensable at my age. I felt just tossed away, just like that.
Yeah, getting back on her feet, as you see in the film, isn't the easiest. So, yeah.
And what was the aspect that was maybe the biggest challenge? Was it the financial aspect, the emotional aspect? I mean, I know duty free speaks to traveling and enjoying your bucket list, but it also speaks to, being duty free from work. So what was the biggest challenge, and what do you wish, could have happened, or what resources do you wish were available to you at that time?
Well, one thing that I want to fight for is the resources. I think I am a lucky person. I have him, especially now during this pandemic. Who foresaw the pandemic when all this went down? But there are people who work for me, who worked with me. They don't speak English. They're immigrants. They're old. There was nothing there. What should happen is that on your last day of work, there should be some plan. For example, Rebecca, it should go, we are restructuring, but you have 60 days notice of such restructuring. We will do this. You will have the help of human resources to do this and relocate. There's no help. You can't just dispense people like that. Again, I'm lucky. I'm educated. I have him. What about the employees? The majority of hotel workers are immigrants. We need to do a better job in America when people have given their hearts and souls to companies. We can just put them aside.
Agreed.
And speaking of caregiving, I mean, Sian-Pierre, you put your life on hold for this. Why? And why is it so important to have these conversations now? I mean, what we know is that there's millions and millions of Americans, going over the age of 65 who still need to work, and they should work because they're extremely capable of doing that. And there's going to be, a need for younger folks to recognize that, but also to step up for the older family members in their life.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, there are more people turning 65 plus than there are people under 18 right now in this country. And that says a lot, right? That says, what you need to know, right? Is that care is going to need to be shifted to a generation of people that we often dispose of and see as invisible. I never expected to be a caregiver. I always knew that my mom was older, but that was it. Again, there was just no plan. And for me, there was no other choice but to pack up my stuff and move to Boston and, be with her. Sure, I was shooting for this film, but really it was about being with her, to like, for her to have somebody to go through this emotional journey with. As we say in the beginning of the film, you know, in a lot of ways we were all we had, and I couldn't leave like my partner through life, you know, alone by herself. And I think, you know, oftentimes when we talk about caregiving, people think that it's, you know, giving medication or bathing, you know, your mom or your grandmom or whatever. And caregiving comes in so many ways. And I think my gut reaction to be with my mom was an act of care. Care at the end of the day is love. And it can come out in small ways and really, really big ways. And I think young people are going to need to step to the plate to be there for a generation that is going to need them desperately. I mean, I think COVID has exacerbated how sort of pushed to the fringe a lot of our parents and older folks are, particularly if they're women, even more particularly if they're women of color. And we need to see them. We need to say their names. We need to lift them up. We need to give them space. And we need to support them because again, like these are the people that built the country that we live in. They're the people who helped raise us. It's our responsibility now to have their backs. And I often say, like, if not for them, do it for yourself. Because if we don't step up for our parents, who will step up for us?
And what would your life advice be for, you know, people who are stepping into that caregiving role who didn't think that they would have to do that and they're going through those tougher moments? Obviously, you two persisted and are thriving now. So, you know, what would you say to your younger self or to anybody going through it?
I think listening is key. Really, really listening to people who need care as to what they need and how they need it. I think oftentimes people think that if you're becoming a caretaker that you need to take over everything. But the whole point, in my view of caretaking, is to provide autonomy, give autonomy to people to age in place, to do what they want to do, to control their lives, and just listen to what they need from you. Maybe they just need an ear. Maybe they need you to teach them how to traverse a website. Maybe they need you to build their LinkedIn profile, as my mom did. Like, what are the specific things that they need? Maybe they just need you to call them every Thursday at 10 p.m. and give them, you know, space. That's the biggest advice that I think I can give, is to listen to what the needs are of the person. And to just, you know, walk through this world generally with an open heart, you know, like, I think we'd just be all a lot better if we could just have that intention for ourselves every day.
Rebecca, what about you? What's one lesson you learned along the way or something that you wish you heard while you were going through those tough moments?
Don't take employers for granted. That's it. Put yourself first sometimes, but most importantly, what I've learned is family is everything. Family is everything.
Yeah, I love that. And one critic called Duty Free a tender love poem from mother to son, which this film absolutely is. I mean, how does it feel to get these reviews? How does it feel to have this engagement online about, you know, your very personal story?
I'm so proud of Sian-Pierre. I'm proud of all my children, but I'm particularly proud because he worked hard on it, and who knew it would be this big, but he gave up a lot and he succeeded.
Yeah, it feels really good. I mean, you know, it's been like a journey, again, 5 years in the making. And so it's been hard, but the payoff is amazing. I mean, when you get those type of reviews and you hear what people are saying online and all of that, like, it's just great. But what feels really good is that I feel like we've landed on a story in a moment that is universal, that so many people can identify with. And I feel special and lucky that we've hit this film in the zeitgeist, you know, and I hope that it speaks to a lot more people.
And Rebecca, are you using your social media platform, which I know has quite a lot of followers, to sort of further that message?
Well, I haven't been counting, but it's 48,600 right now. I so enjoy people are writing from all over the world, from Argentina, Greece, Germany, China. I mean, really, whatever country we come from, whatever color we are, however who we are right now, we're all going to get old. It is going to affect somebody at some time, who knows what day. They're going to get old. And we need to have more resources available for the elders. Again, I'm a lucky one, but there are a lot of people less lucky than me. We need to think about them.
And did you guys become closer through this process? I mean, I know you were super close before because you put your life on hold and was there for your mother, but what has it been like and how has your relationship blossomed?
Well, I don't have to call him 10 times a day now. I only have to call him 4 times a day. That's one great thing because he's close by. But I mean, I would every day. I've spoken to him every day of his life, I think, at some part of the day. And if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I haven't heard, I'm just wondering how you doing?
Yeah, now she can just knock on my door.
I just knock on his door.
Yeah, it has, I think what I say is that it hasn't brought us closer in a way because I feel like we've always been really, really close. But what it has done for me is it has allowed me to see my mom as human, and all its sort of like complexities and nuance and complications and textures. Like, I don't know if a lot of people are able to see their parents beyond them as parents. I got to learn about my mom, as a woman, before me, through sort of revisiting her life through the bucket list items. And that's an honor. And so in that sense, I feel like I've gained a better understanding of who she is.
And through the bucket list, we hit on very key themes within the film. So I would love for you, Sian-Pierre, in your perspective, to talk about the Impact campaign, how it started, and really what the goals are.
Yeah, so we're really excited about the Impact campaign. For those who don't know what an Impact campaign is, it's basically how we will get this film and its messages into the audiences that need them most. And for us, the 3 themes are economic insecurity, ageism and aging, and care. And so this film will be out, as you know, on Mother's Day. And for the rest of the year, we'll be working with various partners, including AARP and Caring Across Generations and Justice in Aging and Leading Age and lots of different organizations around those 3 main issues. We'll show the film. We'll talk about the issues within the film among different audiences who need to hear my mom's story. We'll be providing resources on our website under the Take Action tab. You have not only data to back up every one of these themes, but also action items, how you can get involved to help fight ageism, for example, in 3 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 minutes, 30 days. It's up to you to decide how involved you want to be. In terms of economic insecurity, it's really trying to partner with organizations that can create financial planning conversations between parents and kids. How do you facilitate that type of conversation? How do you break the ice? And so if you check out our website through the Take Action tab, it explains all that we're doing on our Impact campaign. And if you think that you can be a help, please contact us, dutyfreefilm@gmail.com. We're looking for as many volunteers and as many partner organizations as possible to spread the word as far and wide as possible.
And Rebecca, I know you have very specific goals and thoughts too, in terms of what should be included in the Impact campaign. But from your perspective, what are the most important aspects for you or the resources that you wish you could have received that the film ideally will fill those gaps?
I think that a employee handbook all across America, there should be one page on the last page of the employee handbook where it says, welcome to our company. You will get 3 sick days, 3 weeks vacation. You're eligible to join our 401k plan. On your last day of work, the following things will happen under the following circumstances. A, you are terminated for just cause. You will receive your vacation pay, and thank you for working with us. B, you have resigned. You will receive your vacation pay and a good reference. And C, you are terminated due to restructuring. You will receive 60 days notice of such restructuring, and you will have available to you all the resources to find alternate employment, and you will receive a stipend during.
It's this idea that you're front loaded with what happens on your first day of work, but not on your last
day of work.
And I think that, I think my mom is right in fighting for workers' rights in the sense that like they will not be left out on the street essentially with no next steps after having worked for an employer for so long. And so really working with HR organizations to try and figure out what that could look like and testing it out. And that's a goal for us. And one thing I didn't say is obviously this film is so much about a bucket list. And oftentimes, there are very few people who would say, well, bucket list, does that impact? And I would argue that it is. I would argue that what I was able to do with my mom was one mega act of care. And so even on our website, under the Take Action page, again, you can create your own bucket list. You give us your email, we'll send you a sheet that you can fill out, and with your care pair or somebody that you feel like you want to do this with and can be accountable of doing it for and with, and we'll send you that bucket list item, that bucket list sheet. And so, think of some small things that you can do with somebody that you love and that you care about and that you want to show care for. And we'll give you all the tools that you need to do that.
Yeah, Rebecca, I mean, through your creation, you had everything under the sun, and they filled such different roles in terms of what you included in your bucket list. What would your recommendation be for somebody who maybe hasn't fully had the opportunity yet to enjoy life, but they have watched this film and they are inspired to do just that?
Think about it, talk to somebody, think about it, take care of you. Think of one thing that you deserve to be happy. If it's only one or two bucket list items, just very slowly complete the small things, and then the whole goal all the time, not losing sight of it, the big goal of the final thing you want to do before you go. That's it.
We always say that there are, a simple way to think about it is to write down 5. 2 really easy ones, something that you can do today or tomorrow. Really easy bucket list items, whether it's say hey to that person, a crush, or whatever. Like 2 really easy things, 2 medium things that maybe take you a week or 2 weeks to do, just a really light planning, and then 1 really hard thing. Maybe it takes you a year or it takes you 2 years. But the idea is to start the forward motion with the easier stuff. So you get from the easy to the medium, and then you go from the medium to the hard. You really want to build up to that hard one, and make sure you check it off.
Take photographs, document it, show how so you remember.
Totally. If you want to tag at dutyfreefilm, feel free to do that.
Yeah.
And the goal is also to not only just enjoy these things and do everything that you want to do, but to do them with the people that you care about,
Right.
the people that are really important in your life, because everybody should have these intergenerational opportunities to connect and really see the beauty in all aspects of life, and not be limited by age or anything like that.
Absolutely.
So
awesome. Well, please let everybody know how they can stay up to date with you both, in addition to the film's impact campaign.
Yes. So first of all, if you've watched this film at home or even in the theaters, we would love for you to tell people about it. It's so important that the narrative of, older people shifts, and to, make a theatrical hit or a virtual cinema hit with a 75-year-old woman is a big statement. And so please tell as many of your friends as possible that they must see this film, and that it will, do something for them and give them joy and hope. So that's number 1. if you check out our website, dutyfreefilm.com, again, if you want to take action and you want to do some good around the issues, you can do that all on our website under the Take Action page. And finally, sign up for our newsletter on our website. There is a link to contact us and sign up for our newsletter. We'd love to stay in touch with you and hear about your stories and what we can do to support you. And then finally, we're across social media. So at Duty Free Film on Instagram, /Duty Free Film on Facebook, just search for us, Duty Free Film. And, tag us in photos, send us DMs. We're available to you. We are an indie team who just wants to spread the good word. So stay in touch with us. Let's create a community and let's create a movement.
Well, it's a joy knowing you both. It's a joy, supporting the process of bringing this film into the world so that others can enjoy it. And so, yes, please, if you enjoyed it, connect with us. We're excited to hear from you and to continue this impact campaign because, it means so much to us. And, we're ready and the world is ready to really hear this story and to respond to it.
And thank you, Rebecca, who has spearheaded our impact campaign. And it's just awesome. It's so good and it's going to gain so much steam. And it's because of her that we can sort of really use your help. So thank you, Rebecca. And thank you everybody for watching and for supporting us. And we hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your help.
Thank you.